Hi everyone, welcome to the Principles of Big Data Management project phase 1 which is for spring 2018. We are the team members Samhita, Sandeep and Yuvesh. So the main aim of this project is to collect the tweets using the Twitter APIs, and then you perform analysis by developing queries in Spark and to develop interesting visualizations. So the first part begins with creating the Twitter application. So what we need to do is to first sign up with the Twitter account, and then we create a Twitter application and generate the 4 keys, which are called the consumer key, consumer secret key, access token and access token secret. And these are the ones which we'll be using in our code to collect the tweets. So we need to go to the dev.twitter.com, and you have to select the my applications, and then once you click on the create a new application, the following screen appears. We have named our application as some T collector. T stands for tweets, and then once you open that application, we will be getting the URL and the other options. So we just need to enter that and then create the application. So once you click on the keys and access tokens here, which you can see, so these are the 4 tokens which are generated. So access token, access token secret, consumer key and consumer secret. So these are the ones which we will be using in collecting the tweets. So this we have used Python in order to collect the tweets. So this is the sample code where we can get the tweets. So I'll be running through this tweet code. So this is our code for collection of tweets. So basically what we need to do initially is that we have to replace the access token and access token secrets, consumer key and the consumer secret with the one which we just generated in the previous step, and then place them here. So and here we need to give the location of the file where we want to store the data. So this is the one which we have given in order to store the data. So we have basically collected the tweets on Syria war. So we have used the following keywords like the dead, dying, dead, pain, so on, and Syria tragedy, pray for Syria, and all the other popular hashtags. So let's see how the tweets are collected. So you just need to go to the terminal, and you will just go to the location where the file is present, and then this I also needs something called as Tweepy API. So yeah, I'll mention about it. So yeah, this is a streaming API which we need to install along with Python in your system. So this is the one which actually connects to the Twitter, and then which helps us in getting the tweets. So we have to install Tweepy API on top of the Python. So only this program runs only when the Tweepy API is present. So how to run this program is to just go to the terminal and then type in the command Python and your file name. Our file name is readdata.py, and then execute the command. So we can see here that the tweets are flowing in. So these are the ones how to collect the tweets. So yeah, I'll just stop this. So this is how we collect the tweets from Twitter, and yeah, this is gonna store in the location which we just gave here. Like it is gonna store in UH desktop PB, and the JSON file is here. So now this is the one which is fed as an input to the next step, wherein we are trying to extract the hashtags and URLs from the collected tweets. So this is the code for that. Here we need to mention the input file and the output file path. So this is our input file path, like the home, you wish, all the stuff, and this f out is the following output file path. So it's the same way how we ran the previous program. So all that we need to do is again the same way, just type in the Python and the file name space. So our name is tweets convert travel. So this is how the hashtags are generated, and these are stored in this file called extracted output.txt, which is on the desktop. So I'll just show you that. So yes, this is the one which is called the extracted output.txt. This is the file which contains the URLs and hashtags which we have derived using the hashtags program. So yeah, it looks something like this. These are the URLs and the hashtags, and let me show you some of the Twitter sample data. So this is how some of the sample tweets which we have collected looks like. So now the next step of the project is to run the word count program for the ones which we have connected. Like these are for the hashtags and the URLs, we are running the word count program. One in Hadoop and the other in Spark as well. So to run it in the Hadoop, what we need to do is we need to create some Java folder called as the word count.java, and then create a jar which is from this Java program. So now what we do is hdfs copy from local extracted output.txt to pb project and input. So this is the hdfs directory pb project/input which I have created, and we are just moving the extracted output.txt which I just showed you to the Hadoop file system. So now what we need to do is to execute the word count program which I have shown you before. So here it is, Hadoop jar, and we just mentioned the path of it, like it was here in HD user and some first tutorial.jar, and this is the program which we need to run, that is the word count.java, and next is the input and the next is the output. So here is the input, like the pb project input as we have pushed here before, and extracted output.txt, and we want to store the output to the pb project output folder. So here is the code for the word count. So this is the sample code which is written in Java. Using a MapReduce program, we perform the word count operation. So this is the result of the word count operation. Once we print the file, it looks something like this. So these are all the URLs which you can see on the left, and the side is the count of the URL, how many times it was present, and these are some of the words, and this is the count which from that of that word in that file. So these are some of the screenshots from HDFS. Like as I told you, we have created pb project input, and here is our extracted output.txt inside the input folder, and we have created some other folder called as output. And once the program was run successfully, so when you go inside the output folder, the success and the part R folders are created. So this is something part R looks like. So yeah, these are the words, and this is the word count on the side. And the next step is to run the word count in Spark as well. So once we go to the Spark terminal, for that we need to install Spark in our system, and Scala is some of the command line for Spark. Here we need to run some code to get the output, word count output in Spark. So we take some variables where we declare. So this is the one which input file or something variable which I have taken, like the one which we just saw before. The extracted output.txt is the input file, and something called as counts, where you mention that how do you map and reduce it. So for every word you are counting it as a count as one. So this is the code for that. and when you try to print the count and the cache it, so this is how the program is run in Spark. So once the Spark is run, it is stored in the directory in HDFS. So I have created some folder called as Spark output. So here is the success and the part R files, which I have said you that this is the success file. So this is about the running the word count in Spark. So that was about the phase 1 of the project. So over the phase 2, it deals with developing some interesting queries and the visualizations for that. So for that we have used something called as IntelliJ IDE. So this is the IDE which we used, where we can run the Scala programs without any problem, and we can get the visualizations. For visualizations we have used Tableau. So this is the sample code which we have used. This is the something called as query.scala, and to run the Scala programs it needs something called as the SBT, which is the plugin for Spark. So here we mentioned all the dependencies which we use, like the Spark core and the libraries and their versions. So once the build.sbt is generated, you will be able to run a Scala program in IntelliJ. So this is the code for the queries, and here we go. So here it is, these are all the queries, like query 2, query 3, and like that till 10th and 11th. So these are all the output folders which we have got it in this once we run the program. So these are all some of the outputs. So I'll be running through the queries and those outputs in detail along with visualizations. So let us look at each of the queries in detail. So this is the query 1, where we try to find out the location from which where there are many tweets about Syria war. So the query goes like this: select user.location, user.followers count from the Syria data table. This is the data table which we have created with our input. So the output would be in this file called output1. So from our visualization, we found out that the United States has the maximum tweet count about the Syria war. So let me show this in Tableau. So here is the graph which we have generated using Tableau. It says that, as you can see, like again the same thing, it's the United States which has the maximum tweet count. So that was about the first query. Second query, we found the user who has the maximum number of followers about tweet Syria war. So here is the user which we have got in the visualization, that is the Trad American Angela. So if you want to see it in Tableau, so it looks something like this. This is the graph where we have the users on the left and the followers count on the right. So this is the user with the maximum number of followers. So let's go to the query 3. In this query, we try to find out the source and location from which there were more number of tweets. Like we collected the source and the country. So this is the visualization which we have got here. So from this visualization, we can see that the source was mostly for Twitter for Android, and the most number of tweets for this source were from India. So if you want to look at the same in Tableau, it looks something like this. Here we drag the files from new or open, like you select the folder which we want, the input files folder, and then we just drag and drop the columns which are needed for us to generate the graph. So that is how we generate in Tableau. That was about query 3. So the next query is about query 4. In this query, we tried to find out the number of tweets which were generated in September. So it was just by month, which when we tried to find out, so we have found that there were a total of 16,383 tweets about Syria war in the month of September. This is the same visualization from Tableau. The next query is about, we find the location in which the users have the maximum followers about Syria war. So what we found out was that the maximum users were from New York City and they had the maximum followers count. So this is the simple visualization which we can see. This is some of the interesting visualization wherein we have the charts and the circles. So let's look at query 6. In this query, we try to find out the location in which the users have the maximum favorites count about Syria war. So here is the interesting visualization which we have developed. So if you want to look at it in Tableau, so the maximum favorite count was a very big number, and it was from erstwhile of Leiden, and while W was the location. So that was about query 6. Let's look at the query 7. In this query, we try to find out the maximum number of favorites about the users who know about the Doctors Without Borders, about the Syria war. This Doctors Without Borders is a very popular hashtag which is used for the people to locate the doctors and to come out for their rescue in case of any emergencies. So this is the interesting visualization which we have developed. If you want to look at it in Tableau, so Indian Express was the user which spread the maximum awareness about the Doctors Without Borders in Twitter. So this was one of the visualization for that. Now let us look at query 8. So in this query, we try to find out the number of people who are talking about Trump in case of the Syria war. So we basically try to locate whoever tweeted about Trump. So these were the followers and this is the username. So the username with impeach Trump was the famous one among them, who has tweeted a lot about Trump, and the follower count of that user is 56,414. So here is the visualization for the same. So yeah, this is the followers and the username, and this is the visualization for that. And next is the query, wherein we try to find out how the favorites count increase with the location. So here is some of the interesting visualization which has increased based on the location. So as we go down the graph, so the count increases, that is clearly mentioned in this visualization. And the next is the 10th query, wherein we try to find out the number of tweets which and analyze them on a monthly basis. Like we have gathered information on a monthly basis about the tweets, and we found out the March was the month in which there were maximum number of tweets about the Syria war. If you want to locate the same in the Tableau, so here is the graph which I have developed. As you can see, March was the month wherein there were large number of tweets about Syria war. So yes, this was a short video about our Principles of Big Data Management project. Thank you for watching this video.